Welcome to an exhilarating journey into the heart of a winter adventure. Over the next 13 episodes, we invite you to join us as we embark on an exciting endeavor, building the ultimate winter snowmobile camper. Get ready to witness the fusion of innovation, craftsmanship, and wilderness exploration as we guide you through each step of this exhilarating process. From creating the perfect frame to crafting this custom accommodation, we'll be your trusted companions in transforming your next snowmobile trip into a cozy retreat on the snow-covered trails. Whether you're a seasoned outdoors enthusiast or a newcomer to the thrill of winter travel, our comprehensive step-by-step instructions will empower you to create your own winter wonderland on skis. Join us as we tackle challenges head-on, share expert tips and tricks, and celebrate the triumphs of each milestone reached. From installation and heating solutions to storage optimization and interior design, no detail will be overlooked in our quest to create the ultimate snowmobile camper. So gather your tools and your sense of adventure, prepare to make memories that will last a lifetime. This winter, let's venture into the great outdoors together and discover the magic of a DIY snowmobile camper built with passion and ingenuity. Stay tuned for the ride of a lifetime. Okay friends, this is where we'll be heading towards on this episode. As we move through this important but relatively dry section of the camper build, we need to make sure all the stresses of the camper don't cause one or more of the struts to buckle or break. I'm going to talk about how we came up with this design. Let's jump right in where we find our main character of this story in his shop with smoke coming from his ears as he stresses out and tries to figure out where the compressive and shearing stresses will be. Like on the frame, I have chosen to recycle the steel I'll be using for my struts. I went to the local recycler and I picked up 2 of these stanchions for a few bucks, which was a ton cheaper than that of new steel. When trying to keep the cost down, the only cost that doesn't get added in is my labor. After I remove the welded tabs and the 2 braces welded on, I will reuse the T-shape as the base of the strut. Why not reuse that weld as well? It'll save some time. This is the area that I'll be trying to recover. Here I am measuring out the lengths I need to fit the frame. Keeping in mind, I want it to be as wide as possible to spread out the weight, and I only want the camper to be a specific height so I can sit in it when the door is opened. Okay, I know how I'm going to make it solid this way. Cut it here and here. This will be where it fits into my ski. But how do I mount it to keep that leg from twisting or breaking off? I need to have another support that comes off. This is the part where I figure out, what the hell are you doing? I weld this, cut it flush, put a small piece of angle iron which I can bolt through in a couple places. That'll hold that in place. That'll give me the inside-outside torque. And then I'm gonna take this, cut it in half, and brace these inside like that. That is why you wear safety glasses. I was going to mention earlier, why do I use this a lot? because it doesn't do that. In spite of our main character almost facing death, he presses on. Here I am cutting the angles required for the trusses to mount flush on the strut for the welding. I have this strut clamped down now to the frame that I have flipped upside down on the table. I'm using the welding magnets to hold my pieces in place while I make sure they are in the correct angle and the proper position. These magnets are not only amazing for welding, but are super strong and have been incredibly helpful, acting as quick clamps as I set stuff up to have a look at it. Using triangles for strength in welding is crucial because of their inherent geometric stability and ability to evenly distribute stress. Triangles are the simplest shape that cannot be deformed without changing the length of one of the sides, making them extremely rigid and stable under various loads. This principle, known as triangulation, ensures that structures welded with triangular formations can withstand significant forces without bending or buckling. In applications such as this strut, employing triangular configurations enhances the overall integrity and durability of the construction, leading to safer and more reliable welded structure. Now that I have the first strut the way I like it, I now have to repeat this process to finish the second one, following all the same steps, except now I have a finished piece in which to measure from. And now the part we've all been waiting for. I'm gonna clean the steel, get it ready for welding. A lot of grinding. The only downfall to recycling material is the cleanup. If you can get a decent deal on a pack of flap discs, when they go on sale, the total cost of the material is still well below the cost of the new stuff. So totally makes it worthwhile, as long as you got the time. Man, do I ever wish I could sand that fast. Holy. Prior to getting these pieces together, I cleaned them really well with some wax and grease remover, as the one shown here. For all the steel welding I've been doing in my shop, I've been using an inexpensive Princess Auto MIG flux core welder without the shielding gas. This is a setup you can get into for under $250. It's obviously not the best welder, but for the projects I've been working through, it has enough penetration to get the job done. After the welding is complete, I like to use the flap disc to smooth out the welds and knock off all the splatter bits that landed all over the steel. And there's the first strut finished. With the trusses welded in, it looks pretty stable to me. Now that the main strut is completed, I have it clamped back on the trailer frame to make sure I'm putting this lateral brace in the correct spot. I will now tack weld it with the magnets in place holding it so that it won't move, and then I'm going to move it to a better place so I can finish the weld. Just a quick tack weld in a couple places is good enough. And now into a more comfortable position so I can make a few good solid welds. I wiped it all down with the wax degreaser, and now I'm going to give it a coat of primer. When you put a decent amount of time into a metal project, I find it very important to cover the steel at least with the primer right away, as the rust process will begin as soon as you're finished. Now I have it back in position. I'm looking for the right size bolt that's thick enough to handle the strain and just long enough to finish inside the aluminum tube so the head or the nut isn't exposed on the top side of the frame. When I work on projects like this, I tend to use 3/8" self-tapping screws with bolt heads. They give strength while mocking up, and they provide a perfect pre-drilled hole for the drill bit to size the bolt you want to size when you're ready to choose. I test fit the ski to see where the bolt hole should go. I marked it, and now I will pre-drill them out, starting with a pilot drill and then moving up to the size I need. I also started increasing some of the other holes to accommodate the larger bolts that I am using. Now that all the holes are in the correct bolt size, I'll take it apart and I'll give it a complete coat of paint. Get that paint on there. I like the painting part as it starts to come together and it really looks like something that you had in your mind. It's the best part. Hey guys, quick break. Just finished painting. I just wanted to say I'm building this to get out in the outdoors more often. And if you're interested in the outdoors, you should check out Cutter Creek Outdoors. They have an array of outdoor stuff, and if you're a hunter, you should check them out. They have everything you need and all kinds of camping stuff, and they're bringing in lots of fishing stuff. So head down to Cutter Creek Outdoors if you feel like getting outdoors. Well, that wraps this section up. I've got the struts built and painted. I'm going to do one more coat of paint, maybe two off camera, no point in showing you. But there'll probably be 3 coats of paint on this. I finished manufacturing the connection point for the tow bar. I'll put a coat of paint on that when I come back for the second coat of this. So now all we need to do is start building the camper. I have a full working, pullable, well right now it's just a big utility sled for the Skidoo. It's all working mobile. I am going to replace some of the screws you see me temporarily holding it together while I was fabricating it. I'm going to pull those out and put some probably 3/8 bolts, grade 8 into them, nice and strong, and from there we are gold. The trailer's going to go fast. Most of the parts are here. I just have to pick up the lumber probably middle of this week, and I'll start working on it next weekend. Stay tuned for the next episode, and we will get this thing rolling. So exciting! Thanks for hanging out, you guys. I'm Scott from Realistic Outdoors.